What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American living in West Africa. I'm in Nigeria right now and have some not so great news. I did just break things off this past weekend with the woman that I was dating here in Nigeria, and I'm going to tell you all about it. So if you're interested, check it out. All right, so you guys have been asking a lot of questions about my relationship or the dating situation I was in. I wasn't necessarily in a relationship, but it could be considered that depending on who you ask. I definitely have had conversations about how you want to describe what it is that I was in. And so yeah, we're going to talk about it today. It was not a great weekend. Definitely had to have some very difficult conversations, and as part of that, things have been broken off. So some of you guys are new to the channel, to the page. Other of you are not. So for those of you who are new, let me just give you a little bit of background. I had been dating someone here in Nigeria. She hasn't always been in Nigeria, but we met in Sierra Leone. We were dating since June of last year, and we didn't really see each other that often, to be honest with you. It was like June for a week, September for 3 weeks, and then just this last week. So we had our ups and downs throughout the situation, or through the situationship, as you can call it, or some people have described it. We've had to have a lot of tough conversations, and in the end, it just made sense to move on. So we'll get into all of that and why in a second, but first, let's just get some housekeeping out of the way. Other than the sad news of today and we going over this, I'm also going to talk a little bit about what my experience has been like in Nigeria over the last, I'm going to say 7 or 8 days. Different restaurants that I've been to, meetings that I've had, all of that. So we'll get into that too. And I'll probably start with a little bit of that so we can give some more time for people to join. I know that the lives usually start getting more and more people on within the first few minutes. So I want to start off with some other things first, and then we'll get into it. First things first, I am a bit behind on the vlogs. So I've been doing vlogs weekly up until November. Then in December, my channel got demonetized and a whole bunch of other things happened. We're back up and running. The channel is no longer demonetized. We're monetizing the channel again. YouTube has allowed me back into the partner program. So that's a good thing, which means more content will be coming to you guys. So you'll get a chance to see more of what's been going on with me. It makes more sense to put more effort into it now that the channel is being monetized. So you'll be seeing a lot more content from me. And Wednesday, doing a update on the last month the first month I was back in Ghana, just updating there. And then next week I'll do another one on more recent, but I just need to get some of that content. It's also all of that. You guys will get all of that in the next vlog. So just check it out this Wednesday. This coming Saturday, I'm hoping to be able to go live with 2 of your favorites, Massa and Kenye, both of which who are both Sierra Leonean Americans living in Ghana. So we're going to try to do the thing remotely. Usually I'm with them in person. I will be in Ghana. No, I'll be here in Nigeria for the next one. So we're going to try to see if we can do it. All right, cool. So yeah, outside of that, I'll be going live next Monday again from Sierra Leone, and I'll be giving you guys updates from Sierra Leone at that point in time. So let's talk about it. So YOA says, oh man, sorry to hear, Joe. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, there's a couple things. Number one, just to get this out of the way, I spoke to her first. and this is a testament to who she is and how understanding she is. I did mention that, you know, her and I's relationship or our dating experience has been the topic of many discussions throughout the last 6 to 12 months. Well, not 6 to 12 months, 6 to 10 months, and that I am going to be bringing it up on today's live, and she was fine with it. So that's just a testament to who she is, and you know how great of a person she is. So yeah, so that was it. So I just want to be clear that I'm not just doing this just for content. It's really to update you guys and to talk about why we are where we are. I mean, my experience on the continent is meant to be shared with you all, and as I go through these experiences, I'm going to share them with you all in real time. And so this is one of those experiences. So yeah, so I did speak to her first, and she was really understanding. She said it wasn't a problem. She said, feel free to discuss. So I am, but to be respectful of her, you know, obviously, or I'm put it this way, I'll be respectful of her. I mean, it ended amicably. There was no like screaming match or arguments or anything like that. I think we both we discussed it like adults and decided to walk away from the situation. And so so yeah, so that's basically like the overarching idea of how it went. But before I move on, because I'm having a tough time with my connection, can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up on YouTube. Give me a thumbs up on Instagram so I know you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. On Instagram, can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up so I know. YouTube, give me a thumbs up so I know you guys can hear me before we move on, because I'm going to get into the details of everything, but I want to make sure you guys can hear me. While Ace has lots of travel, sounds exciting. There is going to be some travel coming. Okay, Abina said she can hear me. All right, cool. Bluebells 00 says she can hear me. Okay, so on Instagram, you guys can hear me. What about on YouTube? Let me just make sure you guys can hear me on YouTube too. Okay, Christabella says she can hear. Abu Bakar Kamar says, Joe, I'm not getting sound from YouTube, but Ben Kamara and Christabella and YOA all say you can hear me. So Abu, I think maybe you want to leave and come back. Mr. Bounce Los Angeles, you joined at the right time. I was just about to go through the breakup. So we broke up this past weekend, and I'm going to talk about it today. So Ms. P, what's up, Ms. P? So volume. Okay, so Mr. Bounce Los Angeles is saying volume. Can you guys not hear me? It sounds like some people can hear me and some people can't. Let me know if you guys can hear me now. Mr. Bounce Los Angeles, let me know if you can hear me now. Some people on Instagram Live said they can hear me. And those of you on YouTube are giving me a thumbs up that you guys can hear me. But there's a few people that are saying they can't hear me. Okay, YOA says you can hear me clearly. Mr. Bounce Los Angeles, are you able to hear me clearly? If not, maybe exit the live and come back and see if you can hear me. All right, cool. So, okay, let's talk about it. So, and just, there's a bunch of people joining now. Okay, Tamika Michelle says they can hear me. Cool. All right, cool. So just again, for everybody who's new to just join, because a bunch of new people just joined, I got her permission first to talk about this, and she was open to it and fine with it. So I just wanted to be clear on that. You know, this is something that she's agreed to discuss. I think it's a little too fresh for her and I to do the live together. I know that I had spoken to you all about trying to do a live with her, and maybe what the challenges were dating each other before we came. And now that this break has occurred, I don't think it was a little too soon to have the conversation now. So we broke up on Friday night, and basically Saturday. Only One is here. What's up, Only One? And so, let's talk about how the breakup happened, and then we'll talk about why it happened. So it was really just a conversation. Like I said, there was no argument, screaming match. I think we'll definitely be friends for sure. I'm having an issue using my debit cards here, as always. I'm always having issues with my cards, but it's more my fault. And she's willing to even help me out to use my cards, use her card, or even for cash for food if I needed it. But I'm fine. I had enough cash to eat or whatever. But that, like I said, that's just a testament to what a great person she is. And maybe one day we'll get a chance to hear from her when it's not so close to the time that everything was broken off. But I think we will still be friends. She's a great person, and I appreciate who she has been this entire time. But it was a conversation. We talked about it like adults, and we just talked about where we are in life and where we're going and what we want, and how I feel like we're kind of on two different paths. For me right now, where I am, so Takesha's asking, who did I break up with? So as I might have mentioned, I had I was dating someone in Nigeria. She's Sierra Leonean. She's living here in Nigeria. And I had mentioned that we were dating. It's not necessarily a relationship, but I actually had an argument with someone else this last week, and they definitely said they considered it one. So out of respect for her, I'll say this was a relationship. All right, so just real quick, Anne-Marie Harding says they can hear me. Good. And we already got that question. Okay, so Mr. Bounce Los Angeles says, well, I hope you can keep the wheels rolling and remain cool. Amicable split. Yeah, it feels amicable so far. It's still really early on. We've been communicating about other things. She's a vendor who I buy clothes from, and so I'm still purchasing some clothes from her through her business. And so I'm still a customer of hers. And so it seems that, we can still communicate. She'd rather not continue to discuss the circumstances of the break, and she'd rather just move forward in this new version of our relationship, which I agree and respect. And, if we want to ever revisit the discussion, we can. But here's really where what it comes down to. She's building a business for herself, and she has a couple of different places in which she can build this business. One is Nigeria, and also potentially in the US. And she is potentially on a path to moving to the US and starting a life there and building a business there. And as you all know, although I have, investments in the US and I have my dual citizenship, we're in opposite paths, right? I'm building a life for myself on the continent. Right now, it's in West Africa. I'm building this house, and at least the next 5 years or so, or 4 years, however long it takes to build this house. But I'm also considering the potential for moving elsewhere on the continent. Maybe it's West Africa, maybe it's elsewhere. Maybe it's Kenya, maybe it's South Africa, maybe it's even Lagos. But her and I are just on two different paths. And I think just the time spent apart didn't help build for a stronger bond, right? There were mistakes that I made just in terms of constant communication and things like that. In December, we talked about potentially making it official. She actually was not fine with moving forward and making things official. So we decided to, it just kind of remained as is. And it was, just kind of, we were dating, but not fully in a relationship. And even with that, it was, communication was sporadic, not as often, more like about business and work and things like that, and less about, really not much at all about a future together. And so I think that contributed to a feeling of separation and just not deepening the feelings and the relationship, right? I think we kind of just got to a point, it plateaued, and with the lack of being able to see each other, just not communicating about our future and how we were going to progress together. I think just we began to drift apart, and to me, honestly, it was even noticeable when I got here how we just weren't in the same place that we were when we saw each other in September, and especially where we were when we first met back in June of last year. And so, we were here. I was here from Sunday till about Friday, and kind of every day that week, it was something that was on my mind more and more. And I was thinking, I don't know if it makes sense for us to continue this, and if it doesn't, then we should be having this conversation sooner than later, right? Honestly, I probably should have had it even earlier because I had a bit of this inclination earlier, but it was a hard conversation to have, so maybe I chickened out a little bit. Maybe I, just being honest, it's hard to have that kind of a conversation. And her and I in December, when we discussed potentially moving forward and becoming official, I think there were a couple of outside factors that were contributing to me feeling like I wanted to move forward and become official, even considering the fact that we weren't in the same place that we were, earlier in when we met. Number one, I had expected that when I went back to Sierra Leone, she was also going to be in Sierra Leone, and we were going to be experiencing December in Sierra Leone together. And so what kept happening is I kept showing up at places or being places where there were couples, right? And it was the first time I ever had like couple envy. I had always lived my life fine being single and actually preferred it that way. And it was a time where I had someone that I was talking to but hadn't seen in months, and who I had leaned on heavily for different things while I was in Sierra Leone, like meals, breakfast every day, dinner, basically every day, just her connections. If I needed something at the bank, she knows the branch manager because she's a customer of hers, just all different kinds of things. I ended up getting COVID. And so I think all of those things contributed to, and being in isolation, I think all of those things contributed to me wanting to be kind of taking our relationship to the next level and making it more official. Although there were already challenges that posed themselves prior to that, I was kind of ignoring that because of these outside circumstances. And however, when I brought it to her attention, she wasn't excited about the idea necessarily because she felt like I hadn't been doing things that necessarily garnered or not necessarily contributed to her wanting to be in a relationship at that time. And so we decided to kind of remain as is, where it was like we're just dating, and we're not in a relationship, right? And with that, what that meant was, again, we just didn't strengthen the partnership, right? And so we kind of just drifted apart. And so, but one of the things that were discussed at that point in time was, this is a very difficult conversation to have, and we should probably have this conversation in person. And she actually recommended that we have the conversation in person. And I was okay with that. I was fine with that. Although I think it probably dragged on too long because, as time went on, it felt like potentially more and more this might not be working, but we didn't really address it because her and I agreed that we were going to have the serious conversation in person. And so, so it just meant that at some point we were going to have that discussion. And so it just so happened to have happened last Friday. So 4 days ago. We had the conversation 4 days ago. So yeah, so we had the conversation, and I, you know, I knew that when we were having the conversation, it was going to be time to move on. I think she also kind of knew it. She didn't seem surprised at all by the conversation. In fact, she said one of her friends told her that he's going to break up with you any minute now. We didn't get too deep into why her friend said that, but she did mention that, and I guess she was right. But also, too, it didn't seem like she necessarily really wanted to move on. But I don't know. I can't speak for her. Just from her response and her reaction, it just seemed like she was well aware that it was coming. So yeah, I'll pause there and react to some of the comments that people are saying, and answer your questions. If you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. More than happy to answer any of your questions within reason. So let me look at what Miss P said. Sometimes people are better off as friends. Relationships are hard, especially long distance ones. A few of my ex-boyfriends are my best friends now. Yeah, I'm friends with exes. You know, I'm almost always friends with exes. I try to be open and honest as much as possible, and you know, and just, you know, just keep an open line of communication. And you know, it looks like that made so that this break off of this situation. I want to call it a breakup, but it's complicated. But it seems as if that lends to us having a friendship moving forward. Elizabeth says, "I'm sorry that your relationship did not work out. Be strong." Oh yeah, I'll be fine. You know, it's just one of those things that, like, look, I think it was for both of us. It's better for both of us to move on and find situations that make better sense for the both of us. But I'm also just trying to be respectful of her, because she does join the live many times, and you know, I'm not trying to be on here jumping for joy and smiling through the whole thing if, you know, this is a very serious topic. So but yeah, I mean, all is well. I'll be fine. Pro Woman J says, "So sorry, hope you'll be better off." And Pro Woman says, hope you got a friend out of this. I think so. I think we will be lifelong friends. You know, she's friends with her other exes. I'm friends with my exes. So I do think that that we will end up keeping a friendship. Ben Kamara says, "Is she younger than you, and did some cultural differences play a role, meaning you being from the US and her from Salon?" She is much younger than me, which is the thing, is that I haven't dated someone her age since I was her age. So she's in her mid-20s. I'm in my late 30s. I usually don't date that much younger than me. But because of all the things I mentioned to you guys before when I first met her, you know, she's wholly independent. She's a business owner. You know, she's not reliant on anyone else. You know, a number of different things we discussed on our first date, where I was just like, man, this is like refreshing to hear. And then there were other things that, you know, she did. She knew that I was a vegan, and she, like, the next day she brought fruit, like a bunch, like a giant fruit platter, like this big, with like watermelon, mangoes, apples, and then she even boiled plantains, which I like boiled plantains. So like, and then she was doing it like every day for breakfast. She was bringing fruit. She bought it herself and brought it to me. She made dinner. And so I had food. And so like that first week was like bliss, you know? And so that was really why, you know, we jumped in hot and heavy for a week. Then I went back to Ghana. We didn't see each other till September. You know, we tried to rekindle some of that. There was some of that there, but it was a little different at that point in time. And then by the time I came and saw her here in February, it was a different story. I mean, just that space and that time between us just didn't work out. But the cultural differences did play a role. I mean, she wanted to move in September with me, and I wasn't ready to move in yet. And so, you know, I think that also led to her feeling like she was in deeper than she wanted to be. And I think she took a step back because she felt like she was ready to make that move. And because I wasn't, there was a little bit of a point of contention there. So I think culturally there was that difference. I mean, I would tell you all her friends were like, look, this guy doesn't really like you if he's not ready to move in with you right now. And I tend to disagree with that. I think most people globally would probably disagree with that. But I know there are a lot of people in certain pockets in certain places. I know people in LA, where everywhere where cost of living is really expensive or income is not at a place where people want it to be, they tend to move in faster out of convenience, not about the relationship. And I think that this situation was going to be a little bit more out of convenience and not really where our relationship was at the time. We weren't ready for that at that point in time. But I do think that that did cause a bit of a rift, and probably was the first step in what would end up later become a breakup. So Wale says, refreshing to hear you be able to talk about it and how you feel. That's an important trait to have. Yeah, I think so too. You know, I was in a relationship for a year and a half where I had to learn in concept. I think it's helped me a bit in other relationships, including this one, to be more open and honest from the beginning. And so that was important. You know, that was important. Pro Woman J says, how soon will you be ready to date again? This is a tricky topic and discussion, because I think if you answer this question, you can be seen as insensitive. So I'll say, I'll just say this. At some point in time in the near future, I don't know when that is. I don't know when that is. I don't want to say anything in particular, because out of respect for her, and she probably is watching the live, or she does actually always watch the live. So I will just say, you know, at some point, but I don't know when that is. Krista Bella says, I'm sorry about this, but I know you'll be more than okay. Yes, I appreciate it. Abu Bakar Kamara says, sorry to hear, but that's life. Keep trying. One day something good will come up for you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Some people are just joining and saying hi. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining. Elizabeth asked if I'm still in Nigeria. I am still in Nigeria until this Sunday. As of right now, I haven't actually booked my ticket to leave, but the Airbnb that I'm in is completed on Sunday. And I do need to be in Sierra Leone because my birthday is coming up, and I will be celebrating it in Sierra Leone. So Sunday is probably the last day I'll be here in Nigeria. That's what I'm expecting. Takesha says, no disrespect to the young lady that you just broke up with. Breakups aren't easy, but I have a feeling that you bypassed the Ghanaian queen because of small differences. Wait, I bypassed the Ghanaian queen. Okay. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. Oh, because I had mentioned there are differences culturally with Ghanaians than culturally with Sierra Leone, and how I tend to connect more with Sierra Leoneans or even Nigerian women than I do with Ghanaian women. Okay, fair. Possibly. I can tell you that there's someone who has a similar belief to that is Ghanaian, some sort of similar belief to that. And her and I've had these kinds of discussions about the current circumstance that just ended. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, you're probably right. That's a potential for that. Takesha's also saying, y'all hit that like button. Yes, hit that like button. And of course, we got the power outage again. But I got a MiFi. And speaking of the MiFi, the woman I was dating was the one who got me the MiFi. So she actually was the one who went and got it. And so she's been really helpful to me. And so I have to say that, like, that's what makes this even harder, is that she's really been really understanding about the whole thing. And she's really been helpful in so many different ways. And so, yeah, so that's what makes this tough is you know, she's been great, and you know, I'm ending something with somebody who's been great to me. So it's not because, you know, we didn't like each other or we hated each other or whatever. It was really just more we were on two different paths. Okimute says, "Can I introduce you to my sister when you are ready?" Sure. I'll give you an affirmative answer to that. Sure, but I'll have to let you know when I'm ready. YOA says, "Happy birthday in advance." Oh, we're about 13 days away from my birthday, so it's not anytime soon. But I do need to be in Sierra Leone again. While A says, "I noticed the channel name change, a rebrand." No, I didn't rebrand. So the channel name is Authentic African. I changed my name on the account because I needed to for the monetization purposes. I think I might have mentioned this before. My channel got demonetized in November, and it was because I did not verify my address. And the way you verify your address is they send you a physical piece of paper with a PIN number on it. You type that PIN number in the back office of Google AdSense, and then that verifies you as a person, right? Because they had issues with ISIS in the past and other like terrorist groups, they wanted people to give real addresses so that they could send a PIN for you to verify who you were, and then they would check your account to decide if they were going to monetize your account with ads. I had to change my name on the account, my first and last name. Instead of it saying Authentic African, I had to put my first and last name on it, because as part of the verification, I had to show proof of identification with my first and last name. And so I sent them images of my passport, both my passports, and I had to have the name on the account match the passports. So I tried to go back in and change it back to Authentic African, and I hope it does, because I don't want it to be as Joanna Satagwa. It should be as Authentic African, but I had to do that so that YouTube could verify who I was, and of course, monetize the account. Good question, though. Any other questions about the breakup or anything else before I move on to what the rest of the week has been? It's only been 33 minutes. I don't want to cheat you guys out of a normal live. You know, usually the lives go for an hour, so at least sometimes 3 hours, sometimes 2 hours, but we'll keep this thing going. So I'll give you some time to ask some more questions about the breakup or any other questions you might have. But in the meantime, I'll say that things are turning around here in Nigeria. I will say this, you know, the last live that I did really ruffled some feathers of some Nigerians because they felt as if I was trashing their country or comparing it to others. Let me be very clear. Nigeria, I'm here for a reason. Nigeria is a massive country, 200 million people, over 200 million people, probably about as many people are in the US. I know the numbers on paper say less, but you know, obviously it's really hard to tell. Lagos itself has 25 million people. They do not have a nuclear power plant here, right? So power is hard to come by when you have a country that massive with that many people. So I am not, and now there are challenges, and people who are Nigerian do know that, and who live here do know that there are challenges, but there are challenges all over West Africa. Now, the comparison between Ghana and Nigeria is that Ghana has figured out their power issue. I don't know what they've done differently, but for the most part, there is mostly power in most areas, most times, but it is a smaller country with smaller population. So there are as many people in the country of Ghana as there are in the city of Lagos in Nigeria. So, you know, it is just a difference in capacity and the size of the countries. With that being said, I got a few comments on that last video that said that I was making judgments, having only been here 24 hours, and I'm bashing your country and so many other things. And I just want to be clear, I'm here because this is where the startup capital of West Africa is Nigeria. all the unicorns out of Africa, meaning $100 million companies, come from, or is it billion-dollar companies? Sorry, billion-dollar companies come from Nigeria as far as West Africa is concerned. So you have, Jumia that was founded in Nigeria. You have Paystack that was acquired. You have Flutterwave right now, right? So you have these big organizations that have huge investments from people in the West and elsewhere. And so I want to be very clear that I was not bashing Nigeria by any means, but I am pointing out some of the things that you need to know if you decide you want to move here. And one of those things is power. Power is a challenge here. So I do want to just make sure I address that for those who are watching this and who watched the previous live and felt like I was bashing the country. I also have Nigerian blood in me. So I can't even begin to trace my roots. At some point I'll do that, but that's going to be, at another time. But yeah, for sure. Part of me coming here was to see if it made sense for me to potentially move here in the future. Okimute says, I wasn't offended though. You weren't trashing the country. I appreciate you saying that. Other people felt differently. Those who watched back the replay, I saw some comments under the video who felt that way. But I think people just get very triggered when you talk about their country, right? Anybody who has their own country pride does feel triggered when you're talking about their country, right? So I understand it. I mean, Ghanaians are also very, very sensitive about how you discuss their country. And so us Sierra Leoneans are also very, very, very sensitive. Although we also trash our own country as well, but we can be very sensitive when other people talk about it. It's kind of like a sibling, right? When you think about your country, it's like your sibling. You can talk trash about your sibling all you want, but as soon as someone else does, you jump to their defense, right? And so that's kind of how it is when it comes to our home countries. We feel a way about it, and we don't like people talking about it. Takesha says, happy birthday. May God bless you and many more. Far off from my birthday. I appreciate it. But my birthday isn't until May 1st. So if you guys are wondering, my birthday is May 1st. And I'm going to try to look at a calendar because I have no idea what day of the week it is. My birthday might be right around the day of a live. Let's see when my birthday is. My birthday is on a Sunday. So the day before my live on May 2nd will be my birthday. So you guys can wish me a happy birthday then. I may be out celebrating my birthday, so we may go live out somewhere. We'll see. A couple of my friends are coming to Nigeria, actually. We're crossing each other. They're coming to Nigeria on the 4th of May for a wedding, so we may or may not be celebrating on the 2nd. But if we do, you guys are all invited to the celebration. Last year, I did, I recorded my live and vlogged it. If you want to see what that looks like, just go back to the channel and see. But this year, depending on what we do for the birthday, I may just go live that day. Since my birthday is on Sunday, but we may do like a dinner or something on a Saturday. I have my MiFi already with me. I'm getting another MiFi as a backup. So when I land, I'm going to have two MiFi. So just in case, we're going to have power. We're going to have backup on backup with Wi-Fi and power. So I probably will stream the birthday live. So we'll see how that goes. All right, cool. Takesha says, I'm planning on visiting Nigeria in the near future. You definitely should. What's my perception of Nigeria so far? So let me answer that question. So what I said before is, where I am staying on Victoria Island is pretty expensive. But for the most part, food is not too expensive and Uber rides are not too expensive. So I would say it's actually a little cheaper than Ghana in some ways, right? So like today I had a meal that was about the equivalent of like $3 or $4, whereas in Ghana might be more like $8. Still cheaper than in the US for the amount of food that you get, but Ghana is more expensive when you buy food, at least in terms of Lagos. Now, Victoria Island, where I am staying, is a little expensive. Banana Island, Victoria Island, apparently these are two of the more expensive places. Lekki is a little bit more expensive, but not as bad. But like it's too expensive for what you get here. I mean, the place that I'm staying is not bad. You know, it's a pretty nice place, but you know, it's a 2-story place. There's a living room, a half bath, and a kitchen downstairs. There's 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom upstairs. There's a washing machine in the unit, microwave. You know, they have dishes and stuff. This used to be federal housing, and I think some federal employees actually live here to this day. But they have not fixed the facade of the building, so it looks exactly the way it did when they first built the place. And the elevators have like holes in certain areas, and they don't work half the time, right? And so these are some of the things that you find here in certain buildings. That's not the case everywhere, but when you're in VI and people are willing to spend the amount of money that they can to be here, and because they're just known for being safer and quicker transportation to work, you know, because many of the companies are here. Like I just saw Maven Records. There are a bunch of banks here. A bunch of businesses have offices here in VI. And so people tend to want to live here. And so when the demand is that high, people who control the supply don't really necessarily have to do too much to fix it. Just like if you're in Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan, it's expensive to be in Manhattan, but some of those buildings have not been upgraded since the 70s. And you get that same kind of thing here. So with that being said, that's my perception. Sometimes you pay more than what it's worth. I will say the water is not that clean as well. That's something I'll be clear on. So VI and Lekki, from what I understand, are both places where are a little bit more expensive than what you would expect. And the water is not as clean in these 2 areas. This is coming from people who both lived in VI and in Lekki and who live in other areas. Also, what I'm noticing is there's not a lot of solar power here, where other people are adopting solar elsewhere to ensure that they have constant light, so or constant power. So that's something I would also mention as well. So those are some of the things. But outside of that, there's a lot to do here. I mean, when you order food, there's a bunch of different options for food. There's a bunch of different types of cuisine. You got Chinese, you have Nigerian, you have other intercontinental dishes. There are just many different options for food. They have also, they have a Hard Rock Cafe on VI. They have a Hard Rock Cafe on VI. They have Burger Kings here, right? So like all that stuff, if that's the stuff you're into, you know, you can order from there if you want. So I think that's one of the things that I would say is different, is like I didn't see a Hard Rock Cafe anywhere in Accra. And so that's probably one of the things I would say is a little different, is some of those kinds of things. And the demand is so much higher. There's so many more people here. So there's so many more options, so many more opportunities for business, but there's so much more competition too. But if you start a business here, it can do really well when you have less than even 1% of the market share here. So these are all things to take into consideration, but those are some things that you need to know. Also, people here are hustlers. I've had 6 meetings and I have 2 more planned for this week with different people that I know here. And people like to meet up and to talk about business. Even if you don't have an immediate, like, here's how we can benefit each other today. We're meeting up to talk about ideas. And I have noticed that with my diasporan friends in Ghana, but I will say most people that I have met, and this, I can't speak for everyone in Ghana, and I don't want to speak for everyone. You know, at least when it came to people that I worked with, people they were done work, they went home to their families, and that was it. They didn't come back out to meet with people and stuff like that. Like that was most of my experience with people. Here, I've met like a couple of people that I met with are Muslim, and it's Ramadan. They were breaking fast at home, and then they came afterwards to meet up to talk business. And so that is something that's different. Also, I would say as a percentage of the population, there's more of a percentage of Muslims here than there are as a percentage of the population, let's say in Ghana. It's more akin to maybe what you see in Sierra Leone, where there's a higher percentage of Muslims. So, so those are some of my thoughts so far. Takesha says, I trash the USA. I need you all to join in with me. America, I'm not going to say it the way you said it, is straight trash. Yeah, I mean, I never really got offended when people talked negatively about the U.S. Unless they talk negatively about all people in the U.S. Because I think there is a negative perception that all people in the U.S. are ignorant and don't know anything about the world. And I myself personally have been to like 32 countries, I think, and counting. So you can never tell me that I don't know anything about the world. I know more about the world than most people. And I've now lived on 2 continents as well. So, but I can understand people's disdain for the U.S. because of the U.S.'s involvement in world affairs where it does not need to be. So totally get it. And yeah, a lot of people do trash the United States, and a lot of Americans do not have a problem with it. All right. I'm American. I trash the States a lot. I never get offended when others do it. So that's Miss P and Takesha are both on the same page on that front. Okimute says, please visit Abuja. It's different life from Lagos. Yeah, so a Nigerian friend of mine in Ghana watched my live last week and mentioned that she was embarrassed because, you know, the power went out 3 or 4 times while we were doing the live last week. And she did send me a note and asked me to go to Abuja and do content from Abuja. And then also do some good content about Nigeria. And I will. I got plenty of content that's coming from Nigeria. It won't be for another week or two, but plenty of content coming. And trust me, there's a lot of good things to say as well. Like I said, the startup community is huge here. People in Nigeria are serious hustlers. They don't waste time. They move. This is a city that moves. They don't play around. It's akin to New York, right? But like on another level. So yeah, for sure. So Shy Global, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, says, so how are the people vibing with you? Are you getting love over there? Ghana's people are very hospitable, helpful, and welcoming. Are you getting the same vibe, or what's up? Yeah, I think I'm getting the same vibe, but I also use little pigeon phrases when I'm asking for things or talking to people. And so I think that, as I do in Sierra Leone, I think that helps a lot with just ingratiating people. So, yeah, I say wetin instead of what, or excuse me, things like that, when I don't understand something, I don't hear anything. And I think sometimes that helps because people are like, oh, okay, maybe he's like a Nigerian American. So I think it helps a little bit. But so far, I mean, people have been really helpful. Obviously, it's not exactly the same. But I've interacted with a small subset of people at restaurants and with people that I know, and people that I know introducing me to other people. But everything has been good. So all good vibes so far. So yeah, so all good vibes. Yeah, that's what I would say. So Okimute says it's about 50-50 Christian Muslim population in Nigeria. That makes sense. So Ben Camara has some advice or a statement to say. So I'm going to read it. I haven't read it yet, but let's see what you're saying. Okay. On your next relationship, are you looking for someone that is as flexible as you are in relation to traveling? You're always on the go. So it makes sense if you're looking for a relationship. It makes sense maybe to talk about that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So ideally, I could be with someone who travels for work and we can travel together. As of right now, I have the ability to work from anywhere. My current full-time job, and as I'm building my other businesses, allow me to move wherever I want. Ideally, I'm in a situation that can do that, and they can do what they want and still earn an income while doing it, right? They don't have to put pauses on their business to do so. And ideally, it's their business that can also allow us to travel too. Or it's just, someone who can up and travel as much as possible. Or if not, they are in the country that is my home base, which is Ghana right now. So ideally, that is where the person is, because then I'm coming back home to my person. The other question is dual citizenship. Dual citizenship is not required because it's not required because I move around a lot, and my dual citizenship just allows me to stay in the US for as long as I want. But I haven't been back to the US since I've moved, and I will be in the US twice this year for a little over a month each time. but I don't require who I end up with to have dual citizenship. It'd be great. And it might be helpful, especially if they have US citizenship as well, because then there isn't that thought process in the back of my head, like, are you with me for your, dual citizenship, which is not what I feel like my previous relationship was. But there are people in my life who did think that was part of why the person in my previous relationship was with me, which I disagree. But you can't fight that from everyone. People believe that. Pro Woman J says, hate oppression, but love the land and culture and what we became despite oppression. This is talking about the U.S. U.S. isn't a great country, but some things are great about the U.S. Fair assessment, thoughts? Yeah, I mean, look, I think the ingenuity and immigrants made America what it is, whether that was forced immigration or through immigrants coming on planes and across the border more recently. Immigrants do the jobs that others don't, and also work harder and physical labor than most Americans do. It is what it is. This is how it is, and that's why the first generation tends to be the ones that have upward mobility. When you see people coming from poverty into the 1%, in general, most of the time that's either immigrants or children of immigrants. And I don't necessarily know why 100%, but I can tell you from my experience, a lot of that comes from having an understanding of how difficult it can be and how much worse it can be elsewhere outside of the United States, and having a frame of reference for that, and seeing someone work at an extraordinary level for less than ordinary results. And so you just kind of gain that work ethic from them and start to apply it in your life. And I think that helps you to be able to bypass so many others who expect that just by doing what you're taught, right? Get a job, get an education. Most people think that's going to get them ahead. But I think if as an immigrant, that they always tell you got to work 10 times harder than everybody else, and you see it. And so you emulate it. And so in my opinion, I think that that's the case. And so with all that being said, I think the United States is amazing for the opportunities that are available. I think the challenges there are whether or not everyone is aware of the opportunity and is given opportunities when it's deserving. And that's a whole nother thing. Separate from some of the other challenges the U.S. might have. But overall, I mean, I'm grateful for being born and raised in the United States. I just am able to see the issues with that country. But I'm not going to go as far as to bash the U.S. publicly. I might with my own friends, my own personal opinion about certain things. But overall, I'm grateful for my experience. I mean, it was. I'm incredibly grateful for what I've been able to achieve in the U.S. And to be honest with you, right now, I'm working for an organization that is based in the U.S. and is paying me in USD. So I'm ultra grateful for that experience. My sister, Ms. Conte, says, hello, brother. What's up, Zine? That's my sister. That's her avatar picture. I think probably one of her students drew that for her. She's a teacher. She's one of the people who, teachers don't get as much recognition as they should in the U.S. That's one of the challenges I have for the U.S. And I think, honestly, if you work for the federal government in a teaching position, teachers should be paid what senators get paid. That's my thought process. Anyway, moving on. Shai Global says, thanks for the great info. I need to watch your first live to catch up. Peace and blessings on your travels. Thank you, Shai Global. Yes. Check out my last live when I discussed my first impressions of Nigeria last week. And speaking of lives, I don't know if you guys know this, but in about 2 weeks will be an entire year straight of going live every single Monday without fail since I first started going live. I did go live once in March of last year and then didn't go live again until May. And then I've been going live since May of last year, every single Monday, no matter where I've been. So I was in Egypt, where it was 2 hours ahead. So I went live at 11 p.m. I'm here in Nigeria, where I'm an hour ahead. I've gone live at 10 p.m. And then every other time it's been on GMT. So I've been going live at 9 p.m. And so some of you have been with me the whole time. Mr. Bounce Los Angeles from early on. Pro Women's been around for a while. Miss P's been around for a while. YLA's been around for a while. So I want to thank all of you for joining the lives each and every week and sharing in this journey with me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I really appreciate it. So I'm grateful to all of you for being here. Okay. Cool. All right. We are at 55 minutes. Any other questions, comments, thoughts on anything we've discussed so far today? I got a little bit of a headache. I need to drink some more water. I ate some really salty foods today. Really salty food. So that gives me a headache. Being vegan and eating healthier, you feel food now. I ate fries and onion rings. I know. Both fried meals, and that was my dinner, which was a bad idea because now my head is pounding from the salt intake. I usually don't eat that much salt, so I need to drink as much water as possible to hydrate because it's killing me right now. My eyes, like I can feel like my eyes pulsating in the back of my eyes right now. It's not fun. All right, Ms. P says you are appreciated, and you are appreciated as well. Thank you for joining. Pro Women J says congrats from your day ones. Hugs. Thank you very much. Zine, Ms. Conte says, can you recap? I missed it, please. So this is my sister, and she did ask me about my relationship status. And so Zine, you're gonna have to go back, or Zainabu, I should say. We've gone through different iterations. Zainabu or Zainab is what she prefers to be called now, but you got to change your name on YouTube, Zainab. So really quick, breakup happened last Friday. It was an amicable breakup. We're still friends. I think we will still be friends. We had a conversation like adults. We discussed where we are, and we're on different pages, and we have different goals for what we want in life and where we're going. And I don't want to stop her from achieving her goals because I don't want there to be any resentment towards me later on in life. And she also is not able to necessarily move around with me the way I move because of the nature of my lifestyle and my business and what I do. But yeah, so Zainabu, just go back and watch the first like 30 minutes of the live. You'll get the whole thing. I broke it down in detail, why we broke up, how the breakup happened, the history of the relationship. You know a bunch of it already. Obviously, you're my sister. We've talked about it, but we've talked about it. And then there are certain elements out of respect for her that I don't share necessarily with this group. And you guys have to understand there are certain things that I just can't share with the general public. Number one, because anybody who I date in the future, I'm not like Taylor Swift or Chelsea Handler, where I just tell all my business about you in detail. That's not what I would do. So this is not how I live my life, but I do share my experience with everyone as much as I can share and what I have permission to share. So to be clear, Zainab has all the details. You guys do not, but you guys got the gist of it, the general facts and the details of what's happened. Christabella says, how long have you been vegan? I've been vegan since July of 2020. So quick story time for anybody who cares. I gained about 30 pounds during the pandemic. Let me walk you through how that happened. So the pandemic starts, and some friends of mine and I were in New York, and we spent some time in Vermont. And my old roommate in New York he was a doomsday prepper. He's been a doomsday prepper. If you don't know what doomsday prepper is, it's just someone who has like a to-go bag. If it goes crazy, a global pandemic or zombie apocalypse, aliens, nuclear war, whatever, anything like that happens, doomsday preppers are the kinds of people that are like, I need to be prepared with weapons, with food, and with supplies to be able to get to where I need to get to and to build what I need to build. And I got two places I can go to. I got one in Vermont and I got one in Seattle. And I got two kind of groups of doomsday preppers. And so what we were thinking is like, what happens if there's a global food shortage? We're talking about this whole pandemic thing. People are catching this thing. People are dying. We're hearing about what's happening in Italy. There was a doctor in New Jersey. So we're like, we should stock up on food. So we were buying all of these non-perishable food items that are heavy in sodium, high fructose corn syrup, and all the other nasty things that you shouldn't be having. But they taste so good. So we're talking about a ton of pasta and a ton of Pop-Tarts and cereals and like a bunch of stuff. Like we just canned foods, a lot of canned food, stuff that wasn't going to expire for like a year and a half. So we filled an entire massive, like huge suitcase full of food, and we started filling a second one. And about a month in, we realized it doesn't look like there's going to be a food shortage. So we now spend all this money on all this food, and we might as well eat it. I was also in Vermont. It was cold. I'm wearing sweats every day. I'm not out on dates or meeting people. So I'm not necessarily focused on my appearance. I wasn't shaving my beard. I wasn't getting haircuts or doing lineups. I was just roughing it. I'm going to post an interview that I did during that time for a podcast. If you could see it, it was wild. Anyway, I gained a ton of weight. So I was 180 pounds when my normal walk around the earth weight is about 160 pounds. Okay. So to give you some context, right, I was 180 pounds and I'm normally about 160. So I gained a substantial amount of weight. And so because of all the food and the junk I had been eating, I thought, let me just do like a 10-day cleanse and then a 30-day like vegan reset. So like 40 days, so that at the end of that, I'll have reset and then I can get back to like just eating in a more healthy way that I had been doing prior to the start of the pandemic, right? And so that was my original plan. And so in fact, I did the 10-day cleanse, which was killing me. I will tell you, I have never had such vivid dreams in my entire life. And I felt so guilty because I ate some pizza. I had a dream where I ate pizza. And man, I woke up guilty, even though I didn't really eat it. I woke up feeling guilty. Then I had another dream where I had French fries and brownies. Man, you have no idea. And you have no idea how many TV shows center conversations around dinner tables and how many commercials for restaurants there are. My goodness. And how often people barbecue in the summer. Because all of that was just contribute. I could smell the barbecue. I see the commercials on TV. It was difficult, but it was a chance for me to show that I have willpower and self-control. And so after the 40 days, so the cleanse basically was no food, just all water and the cleanse itself. And then 30 days after that, I did a Dr. Sebi raw fruits and vegetable diet. I will say after that, my doctor did say I was lacking protein, so I had to get more protein in my diet. And that was one of the things I took away from that was like, you can't just do fruits and vegetables unless you have a lot of avocado as part of it. And I don't really like avocado, so I wasn't. And I didn't have any beans, which I should have. But if you are going to go on a raw vegan diet, make sure you have avocado and make sure you have beans. Otherwise, you will have a huge depletion in protein. And also, make sure you get outside to get vitamin D from the sun. Because I also had low vitamin D deficiencies because I was in the house all the time and it just was bad for me overall. So, but I everything else was great. The doctor said like everything looked good and it didn't look so great prior to that. It was okay. I mean, I was fairly healthy, but like all my levels were at like tip top, the best health that I'd been in a long time. I also really got into working out during that time, got my 6-pack back and all of that. So that all was why I went vegan. And I actually, not purposefully, but I lost 37. I lost 39 pounds in 37 days. Yeah, which I was not planning to lose. I did not want to lose or 29 pounds in 37 days. So basically 30 pounds in 30 pounds in 30 days. No, 30 pounds in 40 days. Sorry, 30 pounds in 40 days. I meant to only lose like 20 of those pounds, but I lost an extra 10. And then subsequently after that, I actually lost another 5 pounds and then I gave that back. So I'm right around 155 to 160, which is my best weight, even though it makes me look much younger than I am because I'm so skinny. But because of my knee issues, I can't carry around more than 160 pounds or my knees are constantly in pain. So at this weight, my knees are always good. So yeah, there's that. So the question from Miss P was, how's Vermont? I want to do a road trip to New England states with my sisters. Vermont was great. People were really friendly there. They look like people in the South, but they seem like people in LA, meaning like they're more liberal. They're not really conservative, but they look like conservatives. They're like liberal people who like their guns. Like Bernie Sanders used to be a gun guy. Now he's not anymore because his side of the aisle says no guns, so he doesn't. But like that kind of thing, right? So really, really friendly people in Vermont, at least where I was. Really cool people. I really enjoyed it actually for 2 months. But I definitely gained 20 pounds while I was there. So there's that. And also, if you're into it, cannabis in Vermont, yes. I'll just say yes. All right, cool. So Christabella says, I totally get you. I did a 10-day JJ Smith cleanse a few years back, and it did change some of my eating habits until this day. Yeah, and so let me just finish that. So at the very end of that cleanse and then the subsequent vegan diet I went on, my sister had a barbecue right at the end of it. Right after it was over, like a day after it was over, I went to my sister's house for a barbecue, and I did have chicken and turkey for the last time. So technically, I went vegan in July of last year, but the first week in July of 2020, but August of 2020 was the last time I actually had chicken or turkey, and I haven't eaten anything else since then. So yeah, it was at her house. She had a barbecue, and it was good. Chicken and turkey was good. I mean, if it had to be the last time I ate it, that was the time to do it. She had like turkey burgers, chicken. I ate it all, and cheese, and so chicken and cheese and the whole thing. I was doing it all. It's doing it all. Now I haven't had cheese, chicken, turkey, any dairy products on purpose since then. Obviously, sometimes people make stuff with butter and things like that, but for the most part, I have removed all animal products from my diet. And I'm feeling like I'll probably do it in perpetuity. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe I will. So iTuber says, nah, for real. She'd be like, now that you're here, now I'm good. Oh, I guess you're talking about the breakup. No, it's not like that. It was more of a situation where we had that conversation prior to me coming here. But I actually was the person who broke it off. But we were in agreement that she was okay with it, I should say. I don't know if necessarily we were in agreement. There was a little bit of a back and forth on what we could potentially do. But I think in the end, she understood where I was coming from and was willing to follow my lead on that. So yeah. But yeah, she's been great since, and I really do appreciate her. All right, cool. Any other questions, comments, concerns, thoughts? We're now at 1 hour and 9 minutes on this live. Appreciate you all for joining. This has been a great live so far. iTuber says Joe a little heartbreaker. By the way, for clarity, it's Joe with an E. I know a lot of people, because my name is Joannis, I do spell it with an E because the Joe, just J-O, is usually the how women who go by Joe spell their name. And so I do spell it with an E. Just like Joseph is spelled with an E, even though the E is not after the O. I spell it with an E, even though the E is not after the O. iTuber says, damn, I missed 1 hour. You did. You want to go back and watch Go back and watch it because I went right into the breakup. I spoke about why it happened, how it happened, and where we are now. So you definitely want to go back and check it out for sure. Yeah, I was going to put JOH, but did it? My bad. Oh, okay. JOH. It should be JOE or JH. And my initials are JBH, if anyone cares. All right, cool. Any other questions, comments? Did I miss anything? Does anybody have any questions about anything, about the breakup, about my week, my little over a week in Nigeria so far? Anything? No questions at all? Sorry, I need water. Okay, so iTube is asking a question about rebranding the channel. I saw you change the name instead of Authentic African. I'm not rebranding the channel. That was in order to get remonetized. So I mentioned this a little earlier. Somebody did ask this question, but yeah, that's just to get monetized. So my channel is back to being monetized again. Thank you. It's been 5 months. 5 months that October, November, December, January, February, March, and half of April. So almost actually 6.5 months since my channel has been monetized, if you guys can believe it. I missed out on a lot of revenue on my channel, but I still went live with you guys every week, still brought other people for other lives because I still wanted to bring you guys the content because it's not all about making money, although that is part of why I do this. I did want to make sure that I kept giving you guys the content, but in order to be monetized, I did need to make sure that my name on the account matched my name on my IDs. And so I went back and had to update my name on the account to my first and last name. I am changing it back to Authentic African. Hopefully that will change back within the system and you'll see the name as Authentic African instead of Joanna Satagwa. So iTuber asked, how is Nigerian Pidgin compared to Creole? Can you understand it? It's different. It's a little different, and I can understand it for the most part. So yeah, so as it pertains to Creole, so Creole I think has a little bit of like Nigerian Pidgin in it, just because there were a lot of Nigerians that were left in Sierra Leone when after the abolishment of the slave trade, or enslaving, the trading of enslaved Africans, I should say. Excuse me. So I can understand a lot of what they're saying. Most of what they're saying, I understand. I mean, pretty much all of it. It's just understanding how to do it the way they do it is difficult. But they say asabi, wetin, some of the same words that we say, they say. And so you hear a lot of it. And then also Nigerian culture, certain words and language from music tends to permeate around West Africa, right? So wahala, right? It's something that you hear. I know that from what I understand came from Nigeria, but even Ghanaians say it sometimes. Sierra Leoneans say it all the time. I'm pretty sure it came from here. So yeah, I can understand it for sure. iTuber says Freetown versus Lagos. Lagos more busy, definitely bigger. I mean, there's no comparison in terms of the size. I mean, Freetown is probably about the size of certain areas of Lagos, right? Sierra Leone as a whole has 7 million people. Lagos has 20 something. Some people say 25, some people say 22, some people say 30, but it has over 20 million people. Freetown, I think, has between 2 and 4 million people in Freetown. So for context, size-wise, it's just very different. Traffic here is worse, but still the same. Drivers are just as aggressive. People are just as aggressive. We have a very similar culture in terms of our aggression when we communicate. When there's an argument, or let's say when there's a disagreement, or if there's a driving disagreement, people do like to yell. So yeah. So there's some similarities there for sure, for sure. Um, but I mean, there are much more bigger establishments, much more restaurants, all those kinds of things that you don't find in Sierra Leone. But some of the other similarities are there are a lot of Lebanese, there are a lot of Indians, there are a lot of Chinese here, also who own a lot of the major businesses, same as in Sierra Leone. So those things are the same across the board. Joe, is there a good spot for my travel group to go in Accra for drinks and music? We're all in our 50s, so we don't want to hang out with people. So there's actually a pretty cool place that plays jazz. I think it's called 233 or something like that, that has like a jazz night. So I would say that that's a good place to go. I mean, if you guys want to go somewhere that is like outdoor and like a chill vibe, I think that that spot's one of the good places to go. I'm trying to think of where else. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but put that in the comments as a follow-up, and let me do some research for you and get back to you. And then also other Ghanaians or people who are in Ghana, if you're watching this live, definitely give Miss P some recommendations for people over 50 who want to hang out. And by the way, you look great for over 50. I was not going to guess that you were over 50. So Black Don't Crack, shout out to you. iTuber12 says, I see. So the syntax is different, but the meanings are the same more or less. Yeah. You're talking about Pidgin versus Creole for the most part. Here's what I would recommend you do. iTuber, if you understand Creole, follow BBC Pidgin on Instagram. That's where you'll hear the major differences, right? So BBC has a version called Pidgin that's specific to what's happening in Nigeria. And Nigeria is such a big country that they have BBC Pidgin. And you'll get a chance to hear how they phrase things, right? So yeah, syntax is different. Certain words are said differently, but there are many words that are the same. The way I would say it's, I've heard people who speak Spanish tell me that they understand a lot of Portuguese or a lot of Italian, but it's closer than those two. It's much closer than those two to Spanish. But like you'll talk to someone who speaks Spanish and they'll say that they can catch a lot of Italian words or they can catch a lot of Portuguese words. It's very similar in that way, but it's even closer. Hanging out with people too much younger than us. I got you. There's another place that I like to go to, and now that name is escaping me. I've been there. That's where I first met Masa and Kenye for the first time. What's the name of that place? You guys, if you guys are on the live, tell me where that was that we met up at, so that so we can tell Miss P about it. She says, yeah, you missed the rest of my sentence. I got it now. But yeah. Okay, Christabella says, thank you for sharing both your relationship status and still providing content. Did not know your channel was demonetized for all these months. Yeah, so it was. But I felt like I shouldn't deprive you guys all of content and understanding what's happening here just because it was demonetized. I mean, I will say it definitely disincentivized me from doing the 30-day challenge that I was planning to do. And it also had me focusing more on other income streams because it didn't make sense to put out all that content if for all that energy if I wasn't going to be monetizing it. But I still put out at least a video a week and sometimes 2 videos a week for the last couple of months. But now we're going to be back on 3 videos a week. 3. And then we're moving up to 5. So by the end of June, we'll be at 5 videos a week. So it'll be 2 lives a week. Then there'll be at least 2 vlogs a week. And there'll be at least a reaction video once a week. And then I'll be doing YouTube shorts and all other kinds of things. So be on the lookout for that. In the next couple of months, this channel is going to be 5 videos a week because my goal is to get to 15,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And so that means I'm going to have to be doing 5 videos a week from June to the second half of the year. So I want to get to 5,000 subscribers by June. And then I want to get from 5,000 to 15,000 subscribers from June to December. And I'm going to need you guys' help or your help, the collective help of you all. All right. iTuber says, yeah, Nigeria could easily be thought of as a first world country in many sections of the country from what I saw, but it's still developing for sure. Yes. Still developing for sure. Still some challenges, some very wealthy, very, very nice buildings here. But then also there are very many people who are struggling as well. So yeah, for sure, you get a little bit of both. Shout out to Joanna. Oh, well, Jaden, Joanna's son on Joanna's Instagram, my sister Joanna. Yeah, so I love how Jaden always comes with the facts. So he mentions that Nigeria's population is over 200 million, so it's crowded. It is crowded. How's it there? It's great. It's been great. It's been interesting. I know we haven't gotten a chance to catch up yet, Jaden, but it's definitely been an experience, to say the least. Power outages, things like that. But overall, it's been great in terms of like networking and business-wise. I've had a lot of great meetings and met a lot of great people. So all in all, it's been a great experience. What's up, Sean? My guy, Sean. One of my friends from my crew in Los Angeles. Haven't talked to Sean in a minute. Sean, we got to catch up. I will be in LA in early July, Sean. So we definitely got to get up. I got to meet your baby. I got to catch up with you. We got to catch up. I mean, we haven't seen each other since 2020. So we got lots to catch up on, bro. But I'll be back in July. All right, cool. Flight to Film is asking for cliff notes for latecomers. All right, real quick cliff notes for latecomers. You definitely want to go back and watch the whole thing, though. I will encourage you to go back and watch at least the first 30 minutes. So the three things we talked about was, in terms of the relationship, why it ended, how it ended, and where we are now. Okay, it ended because we're on different paths. That's the Cliff Notes version. How it ended, it was a amicably and an adult conversation. And how we are now, we are friends and we're still in communication. We're just not talking about the breakup. I buy clothes from her, and I will continue to buy clothes from her. And she's gonna actually do an order for me this week. And she's also been really helpful with other things. You know, I need a belt, and she saw a belt today. She offered to pick it up for me. It was too big, so we didn't get it. But she's also, you know, she's just really helpful. I've been having issues with my debit cards here because I didn't tell my banks that I was going to be moving here or coming here. And so my cards don't work in this country. Luckily, I had brought out a bunch of cash before I got here, but the cash is starting to run out. And so she's willing to help out there. So just really, she just has been really great about it. And I have to say how much I appreciate her and how she's handled it. Okay. What else do we got? iTuber says, Sierra Leone Independence Day is coming. Will you be in the country? I will. That's why I'm leaving this Sunday to go back. I will be there in time for Independence Day. I'll be getting some content from the events happening around Independence Day. And then my birthday is shortly thereafter. Haha. This is an interesting one. Curious to hear your thoughts on this Flutterwave thing. Do people in your network talk about it? Will it negatively affect other businesses from getting funded, etc.? Great question. And I should do some content on Flutterwave. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, and it's a lot to explain, so just high level, Flutterwave is a fintech company, financial technology, allowing for different kinds of payments in a place where payments are difficult. If you can think about Cash App, but also Apple Pay, all those kinds of things are included. Flutterwave also used to be the company that processed payments for the people here who are watching Netflix. So like, you know, when you put your credit card in for Netflix, I don't know if you know this, and same thing for Hulu, third-party companies process those credit card payments, not Netflix, not Hulu. And in Nigeria, Flutterwave used to be the company that processed those payments for Netflix in Nigeria. I actually happen to know the CEO of the company who took that business from Flutterwave. It's a company called Searbit, and his name is Niyi. It's Omini, but he's Nigerian, and I'm actually meeting with him tomorrow. But he actually started a competitor of Flutterwave. And so anyway, Flutterwave is having a lot of issues from like sexual harassment, insider trading, stealing funds, all kinds of crazy things going on. And so it has been coming up in my conversations. I haven't really dug deep. There's an article that I need to read that's really going to give me like a really deep understanding. Do I think it's going to impact other investments? Probably. Anytime you have negative press coming out of somewhere that has very few good stories, and it's one of the 3 companies that are well known that came out of Nigeria and are really well known in the West, it is going to have some type of impact. I don't know how big of a negative impact it will have. I think what it'll likely do is ensure that investors are much more critical of the companies they decide to invest in, and they'll probably spend more time with the companies, and hopefully with someone like me to do the due diligence. That's ideally the plan in the next phase of my career, is to be part of a venture capital firm and to build my own eventually, and to be the person investing dollars in these kinds of companies. But yeah, I mean, I do think it is going to have an impact on startup funding in the future. How much of an impact is hard to say, but you know that when you have a negative story like this, people do tend to look at it and make decisions based on it. So let's hope that it doesn't have a huge negative impact. Only One says, Miss P, there's a restaurant in Accra in the Sukumono neighborhood called Fridays that has live bands on the weekends. All right, cool. And then also Manelik mentioned Village Inn. It's a club, Village Inn Jazz Club, Accra, and Fulton Jazz Club. Those are also 2 places that Manelik mentioned. Cool. And iTuber says, speaking of banking, I hear the branches cannot talk between countries. Example, you open a UBA bank account in Ghana, fly to Nigeria, try to take money from UBM ATM in Nigeria, and it won't allow it. Yes. Exactly. Yes. That's exactly the issue. Unless you speak to UBA in. So here's what you have to do. For those of you who plan to travel between countries in West Africa and you have a bank account in one and you're going to another, each bank is different. But if you have a UBA bank account, what you have to do is you have to go into a UBA before you leave the country, fill out a form that says what days you're going to be in another country, and sign that form. Otherwise, when you get here, even at a UBA, you can't pull money out of the ATM, which is what happened to me yesterday. So yeah, you're right about that. EchoBank is a little different. You just have to tell EchoBank, just like in the US when you go to Chase, if you bank with Chase, which I do, when I left the country, I just had to tell them like, hey, I'm going to be in Sierra Leone. I'm going to be in Ghana for an indefinite period of time. If any transactions come from there, they should be fine. And so they allowed them. But yeah, Sendwave is another company that is a competitor to Flutterwave. Yes. Sendwave is very effective for sending money. Ms. P says, thank you for all that info. I really appreciate it. No problem. iTuber says, kind of makes it pointless then. They need to fix that ASAP. Yeah, they do. I don't know how other banks work, right? All right, we're back. We're back. Can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Instagram, YouTube, give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me and can see me. Sorry, my MiFi just completely crapped out on me, so now I'm back on the house Wi-Fi. So hopefully the power doesn't go out between now and when I'm done this live, because if it does, then you're not going to be able to hear me. Power didn't go out. My MiFi acted up. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. All right, Jaden. See you later. Jaden has to head out. All right, Jaden. Can I get a thumbs up from everyone? Okay, only one says she can hear and see me. Okay. Okay, Christabella is giving me thumbs up. What about you guys on Instagram? Oh, not too many people are still there because it's dark. That sucks. Okay, so a couple things. Let's see. While A is just talking about Sendwave, when Uber drivers claim they don't have change, as they always do, I ask them if they have Momo and then send the exact payment directly to them. LOL, it goes through in seconds. Yeah, good point. Yeah, because everyone will tell you I don't have change, so that you can always round up and they get a little bit more money from you. Good point. So is it true most African banks won't allow you to transfer funds from Africa to USA bank account? I hear it can only go in but not out. That's a good question. I've never sent money out. I've only sent money to my African bank accounts. I'm trying to think if I've ever sent money out. Okay, I've sent money out through like World Remit and things like that, but I've never tried to send a wire from an African bank account to the US. I have two bank accounts, one in Ghana, one in Sierra Leone. Excuse me. And I've never tried to do that. Afia Girl says, where is your friend Shadera Stevens? Is this Shadera Stevens or is this someone else? So Shadera is in the UK getting a master's degree, as far as I understand. I actually just messaged her recently because I saw that she was there. We haven't kept in too much contact. She hadn't really been keeping up with her YouTube as much. And she has a bunch of other stuff she has going on. But yeah, she's in the UK, as far as I understand, getting her master's degree, which is really dope. She just recently got into a new relationship from what I saw on Instagram or WhatsApp or something. So that is the update for Shadera Stevens, for those asking. Okay, I guess because my American mind cannot comprehend me going from one state to another and not being able to access my funds easily, but Africa is different countries, so I should probably let that go. Yes, that's part of it. It is different countries. I mean, that was kind of the thing for me. I was like, this is EcoBank. Because when I went, okay, so this happened to me. I couldn't use my EcoBank card in Ghana when I first got there. So I went to the EcoBank branch and I was like, can I take money out? And they were like, no. I'm like, what do you mean no? And they told me it's completely different systems. Each country has its own process and operating system. It's just different. And I think it has a lot to do with each country having their own banking policies and rules and things like that. And intra-country banking has some challenges. But it seems as though other banks internationally have deals, Citibank with Chase, and Wells Fargo and all that. So I don't know why it's not that way now or here, but and TD Bank especially, but it is what it is. Yeah, but there's a good point. Okay, everybody was just letting me that they could see and hear me. While he's saying the issue is not African banks, but with what the U.S. will accept, I believe, in terms of sending money from African banks to the U.S. I'm curious if Africa is on the SWIFT system as well. If so, I don't see the issue. It is on the SWIFT system, but I don't know why and how that has impacted the sending of money back and forth. Elizabeth says, I always withdraw money from my Echo bank account in Ghana. I pay a small fee. Yeah, if you do it through the ATM, you can do it. iTuber says, Joe keeping tabs. Oh, on Shadera. Yeah. No. I mean, it's just, I just happened to see it recently. So, but yeah, Shadera's cool. She's, if you haven't seen, I did 2 pieces of content with Shadera. One was 10 more things I wish I knew before coming to Ghana. So you have the Nigerian perspective, because she was Nigerian, came to college in Ghana, went back home, and then moved back to Ghana before she went to the UK. So we did that. And then I also did a video about her going viral, going from like 4,000 to 25,000 subscribers based on one video that had over 500,000 views. So definitely check out that video if you want to know about different ways that people go viral on, and Africans can go viral on YouTube. Hopefully the AFCFTA should resolve these issues. Hopefully. We need an ECOWAS banking protocol. Let's go, my West African people. I don't disagree. I'm with you 100%. Yes, we do. Daniel is one of my former work colleagues. I asked him to subscribe to the channel a few weeks back at a Pernod Ricard event, and true to his word, he did subscribe and he caught a live. Hey Joe, great to hear you again. More support from your Jumia friends. Sorry for the breakup. It is what it is. It is what it is, my brother. It is what it is. But yes, thanks for supporting Daniel. Daniel's a great guy, really smart, really good at what he does. He's holding it down for Jumia Food and Party. All of our favorite brands, Diageo, Pernod Ricard, Red Bull, et cetera, et cetera. He's a key account manager working all that kind of stuff. So anybody looking for somebody who's good with brands locally in Ghana, Daniel's your guy. I'm not saying he's looking for a job, but I'm just saying he's good at what he does. Miss P says, I left Jersey and went to New York for dinner and forgot to let my bank know my card was declined at the restaurant, but worked as soon as I got back to Jersey. Thank God I was with my best friend. That can happen too. You know, sometimes even just crossing state lines depends on the bank, and it depends on what kind of fraud prevention you have in place. So I get it. iTuber says Daniel is a real one for subscribing after saying he would. Daniel is a real one. Yes. I feel bad. Daniel's one of the people I left behind when I left Jumia. I am still contracting, so Daniel has me on board for 12 more days. Mariama Forbes is late to the party. But what's up, Mariama Forbes on Instagram? You got to come to YouTube. My Instagram got messed up because I lost connection to the internet. So now my Instagram, you just see a black screen. I think you don't see me. So Instagram Live is not working as well. Manelik says, if you ever need help running your lives, I'll be willing as much as I can. Let's talk about that, because I do need help running my lives. I do need help with timestamps, with different questions. So you know what? Let me put this out to the group for volunteers. As you know, my channel was not being monetized, so I need help right now, and I'm looking to really build this out. And no better time than the present to talk about this. So first, let me put this out there and let me explain what I'm looking to do. So some of you may be in the generation where you know about Vlad TV, you know about No Jumper, you know about some, and you may even know about the Black Effect Podcast Network with Charlamagne tha God's podcast network. One thing they all have in common is all of them are constantly putting out content. Now, No Jumper and the Black Effect are similar in the sense that they both have podcast networks and they have other people doing content on their platform. So the Black Effect Podcast Network is Charlamagne teaming up with Clear Channel and putting all these podcasts out from all these different Black leaders, right? And people of color, Black people of color. The No Jumper podcast is different people. He has a No Jumper news show. He has interviews that he does live. He has At the End of the Day with AD. He has Sharp Tank with this guy Sharp. He has Disconnected with a guy named House Phone. And then he has a battle rap podcast with a battle rapper who incidentally is dating Megan Good. That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, so the No Jumper Podcast Network is kind of the model that I'm looking to follow, but I cannot do this alone, and I don't have the bandwidth to do all of it myself right now, and so I need help to be able to do certain things with this channel. Number one, all of my lives right now, don't have chapters set up, right? Ideally, with every question I answer, there should be a chapter set up. So like if you are coming to watch the replay of the live, you can skip to whatever part you find most interesting by looking at the chapters. If you've ever seen chapters on YouTube videos now, you hover over the YouTube video and you can see little delineations, like what they're calling chapters, where you can click on it and it goes straight to that section and it tells, and you see what they're talking about in that section. Right now, I don't have the bandwidth to do that, so none of my lives have chapters. I'm not going to ask anybody to go back and do that with my old lives. I know that iTuber has done that, did that with the live that I did with Kenya and Masa a couple of weeks back, and I really appreciate that, iTuber 12. But if anybody wants to help me do that moving forward, help me curate the questions that are coming in and come along with me on these lives every week, that would be really beneficial, especially on Instagram and on YouTube. Ideally, that will help me. I need someone to help me moderate these things. So Menelik, I really appreciate you offering to help. Like, let's definitely talk about that. Let's figure out how we can make that work. But yeah, I am looking for help. So anybody who's willing to help, please do. Okay, iTuber said, you in that same Airbnb going smoothly after initial hiccups, got the free nights. So yes, I am still at this Airbnb. It is going much smoother. I think the building has decided to use the generator more often. All of Saturday and all of Sunday, the generator was turned on every time the power went out. So thanks for asking, because I do want to mention that. So all day Saturday and Sunday, I was on a mission. I had a really big presentation I had to do today for the C-suite at my company, my new company, and I crushed it, by the way, as far as I know. I hope I did. The chief growth officer said I did a really good job. But yeah, so I needed a lot of time this weekend, and I needed to edit some videos for YouTube, and I really needed to have power and like AC, and just I got in a rhythm, and I got a lot of stuff done this weekend. And so so yeah, after initial hiccups, and they did give me a $200 refund. I asked for a $300 refund, but I'll take the $200 refund. It has already been sent back. So they did compromise a bit with me. They did mention that the issues that they had were not their fault, but actually they were. The only thing that wasn't their fault was the power, but them not telling me was their fault. My bad, Menelik. Great name, by the way. I thought you meant helping with running people's actual lives. Oh, iTuber must have made a comment that looks like did not end up making it to YouTube. They must have decided not to post it. All right, cool. Now I see a bunch more people jumping on the live. Now that the content has been said, everybody go back and watch the first 30 minutes of the live. I give you all of the details of what happened. We break down the breakup, how it happened, why it happened, when it happened, and our relationship now. While A started laughing, saying I was going to say I need help too with my life. No, he meant my YouTube lives, not my actual life. Although I do think I do need to go seek a therapist and a professional for sure. I think we all should at some point for some things, unresolved childhood trauma, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's helpful and important for sure. iTuber says, for real, give me some stock picks. Anyway, so Menelik, not on IG, email me at authenticafricanlife@gmail.com, authenticafricanlife@gmail.com. Because the reason why I say that is my IG inbox is crazy full because of just the sheer number of followers on that page, and how many people send me content that they want me to post on the page. I can't do it. I can't do it. Sorry. I lost my train of thought. I have a hard time keeping up with it. That's something else I need. I need someone to help me keep up with my inbox, because it is very difficult to keep up with it. Okay. Ms. P says, 100% agree. 100%, I agree 100% with going to therapy. Yes, for sure. All right. Now that more of you joined, any questions, comments, concerns on anything I mentioned or anything I didn't mention so far? All right, we are at 1 hour and 46 minutes. This has gone on longer than anticipated. I want to thank you all for joining. I'll give it another second or so to see if there's any last minute questions or comments. I noticed that there's almost like a 30 second delay or so. So I'll give a little bit of time for anybody who might have some more questions or comments, but I do have a ton of work to finish tonight, and it is later here now than it normally is. So we're going on 12 o'clock here, my time, and I got some work to finish. I have to follow up on that presentation that I did today with my CEO and everyone else. So I am going to have to end this live soon. But if you have any more questions, comments, I'm more than happy to answer them as they come along. iTuber says, keep doing your thing. Stay healthy. I shall. Thank you. Thank you. Will do. Excuse me. Keep drinking that water. Keep getting my vitamins. Keep eating fruits and vegetables. Keep washing those hands. And yeah, stay healthy and stay safe, my friends. All right, cool. Anything else from anybody else before we call it a night? Guys, this has been a therapeutic experience, an interesting one. I'm glad you all could join. If you find this content useful or helpful, make sure you share it with anybody you know. Of course, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you like this video. Actually, this is what I want everybody to do. Everybody who's watching this right now, hit the thumbs up on this video now as we're on this live right now. Also, if you can, share it with one person you know who's thinking about moving to the continent or who's thinking about dating on the continent and might want to know what that experience might be like. I talk a lot about it on the channel, period, but I've definitely talked a bit about it today. Ms. P says, this was great as usual. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone. Talk to you next week. Yes, we'll do. Or this weekend. Christabella says, have a good night. All right, guys. It looks like there are no new questions or comments. If you have any questions about anything that happened in the relationship, definitely go back and watch the first 30 minutes. Definitely go back and watch it. All of it's there. Manelik says, I'll assist you with the inbox also. Great. I definitely appreciate it. While A says, we appreciate you, Joe. I appreciate you as well. Christabella says, hit the like button a while back. We got you. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. All right, everybody else, make sure you hit that like button. Everybody else, make sure if you're not subscribed, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, when you subscribe, don't only hit that subscribe bell when you hit it. Like, look at it, hit all, because there's going to be options. There's like all or sometimes or none, I think. Hit all so that you're always notified when a new YouTube video goes live or when I go live, because otherwise you're going to miss it. And that is why we don't have as many people joining as we should, because YouTube doesn't start telling people until you guys join and you guys start commenting. Then YouTube says, okay, this is interesting to some people. Then it starts telling other people. But imagine if out of the 3,000 something subscribers, maybe 100 people join, maybe 200 people join, right? But that's not happening today because most of the people who watch are not subscribed and are not sharing it. So I ask that you guys do that so we can get this information to more people. Only One says, thanks for being so open with us, Joe. Take care. You're welcome. Thanks for listening. And with that, guys, thank you all for watching. I will see you all on the next video.